Thank you, May. And I don't know about you, but if I had heard nothing else this afternoon, and certainly I've heard plenty, but if I had heard nothing else other than someone call May an utterly inspiring total nutter and live to tell the tale, it would have been well worth it. You're looking at me and wondering why on earth someone from Invercargill is here, because everyone in Invercargill and Southland obviously looks like me. They've got blonde hair and blue eyes, and the few that don't have got mad red hair from their Scottish heritage. So I thought, May always talks about assumptions being one of the deadliest sins, so I thought I would just dispel that for you, because in fact, and you probably dreamt of this, but in fact, Southland had the highest percentage increase in people coming from Asian ethnicities in the last census period. And we also have 15% of our population Maori. That's the largest percentage population in the South Island, and it's larger than many of the North Island regions like Taranaki. We've also got more than 2,000 Filipino workers in the dairy industry. So dispel that myth about everyone looking like me. Southland actually has some diversity already. I'll work quickly through. SIT and Southland had to get ourselves ready for super diversity, and we started doing this without knowing that's what we were doing. But of course we had to expand what we were offering at SIT. We had to develop our facilities, and 100 million probably doesn't sound terribly much to Derek from AUT, but to us it's quite a lot of money to have spent over that time. And we had to grow our student numbers, and we had the very dubious distinction back in the mid-90s of having 2 years of declining student numbers, which gave us a real wake-up call. And some of you might be aware of our zero fees scheme for domestic students that we brought in that gave us a real boost. But then again, in 2008, we realised that actually our province needed much more of a boost, and we really pushed into our internationalisation. So now we have around 5,000 students, and our international student numbers are the ones that are growing. So we'll have around 1,100 equivalent full-time international students, so getting up over that 20% range, and they come from about 70 different countries. So you can imagine the impact of that in Invercargill, where perhaps a decade ago you wouldn't see someone walking with a turban through the middle of Invercargill. It's now a very commonplace. So our growth is focused around what we need for Southland, and we have the luxury of being a big fish in a very small community. So it's important for us to be working really closely with our community. And Southlanders are pretty pragmatic people. If they know the reason for doing something, then they're pretty likely to come on board. So we regularly do these economic impact surveys, because whether we like it or not, money is a big influencer on people accepting change. And so in that 2013 survey, people could see that we were putting nearly 20 million into the economy every year through our international students and creating a significant number of jobs from that. Southland's got a really small population. We're only 2.3% of New Zealand's population, but we're one of the reasons why the rest of the country keeps wealthy, because we produce 15% of New Zealand's tradable exports. So 70% of what we produce is exported. The government's got a target for regions to hit 40%. Sorry, Wellington, you're well behind on only 17%. I hope you feel incredibly grateful to us. So we're a star performer economically, but economic growth doesn't of itself give population growth. Our population growth has been really small, and if we continue growing at the same rate we're at, we'll be much less of a percentage than the rest of New Zealand. And our economic growth that's occurred has often been through productivity, and productivity often decreases population. But we know within the next 10 to 15 years we're going to have really significant skill shortages looming. Reinforcing that is the indisputable fact that we're older, than the rest of New Zealand. Many are in the sort of age group that I'm in and will be moving out of work in the next 15 years. And our employment rate is really high compared to the rest of New Zealand, and our unemployment rate is really low. So that, combining with our population situation, means that we've got a well-researched and well-documented labour shortage looming on us. Now that really focuses people's minds when they see that coming. So the employers, the Chamber of Commerce, the community leaders are seeing this all culminating in something that's really going to hold us back as a region. We know that the economy is vitally important to us, but the Southland Regional Strategy that was developed last year, unlike most other regions that put economic growth and economic growth strategies in place, we put in place a strategy to grow people, because we know that retaining or increasing our new migrants or increasing our international student numbers is critical to us as a region, to our social development and our cultural development. So economic growth is there, but actually people are what are important to us. So there are lots of things that we do at the other end of the country that you perhaps don't have to do here to make our international students feel important. We have to make them feel like they're at home. So we pick them up the way you would pick up a guest, and we give them a free accommodation. And yes, it is colder down in Southland, so we give them a free jacket. We give them a phone card and say, you must ring home and tell them you've reached the other end of the world. And we also want to include the spouse of that come with our international students, because if the spouse can't become included in our community, then quite quickly the whole family becomes isolated. So what did we do at SIT particularly to help SIT and our community prepare for internationalisation and that super diversity that comes with it? Well, we got our Mayor on board for a start, and Mayor Tim Shadbolt is about the best advocate you could possibly get. He travels overseas regularly for us, and he opens doors for us overseas, and he understands, he gets it about how important super diversity is for Invercargill and for Southland. We do lots of small things around sending newsletters out all around the province, showcasing our students where they've come from, what they bring to us here in Southland. We have staff meetings reinforcing that. We have advisory committees with people from all over industry coming along to meet our students, and we make sure that our students join in those celebrations that are important to them out in the community, so that people get to be included in that. And education, as well as awareness, is incredibly important. And May came down and did some fantastic super diversity training with our students and our staff, and we'll be rolling that out into the community. The Chamber of Commerce are excited about it, the Mayor's excited about it, and we're small enough that we can do this. We can use SIT as a centre and roll out some of these things right across the province. And it's important for us to do this because I had a meeting yesterday with one of the owners of quite a large manufacturing industry in Southland. He'd interviewed one of our graduates, our international graduates, and he said, look, Penny, I'm really worried about whether whether she'll fit with our culture of our organisation, because she kept talking about workers as if they were down there. And he said, you know, we're really about teamwork. So it came home to me how much we have to do both with our students, teaching them about the culture of New Zealand, about that egalitarian culture that does foster teamwork, but also working with our employers through this super diversity training so that they feel comfortable to be able to discuss this and say, actually, this is part of our core. Teamwork's really important to us. We need to teach you how to get there, but we need you to understand that it's important to us. And so we're going to take that responsibility of working not only with our students, but also with the wider community in helping that education process with the help of May. Part of it is about the rewards, understanding that by getting this greater internationalisation and the greater super diversity, then there are rewards that come from it. For our staff, they know that we can offer far more programs because of the internationalisation. They know that they can get extra support, teaching assistance when they have international students. For Southland businesses, they understand this is the new way to get talent. They know that doing it the same way we've always done it is going to leave them with those skill shortages. So they understand that this is a means to bringing talent into their businesses. And the Southland community is understanding that it brings a richness to it. It brings those different celebrations, those different ethnic foods, those different cultures, the colourfulness of having a diversity. So it's been a journey for us as SIT, but it's also been a journey for our community, and that's important to us in Southland because we're not an island, we're a very small, SIT is a very small institution in a very small population, and we need super diversity, and we understand we need it, and we're going to work hard to get it. Thank you.